Friends, the case I'm going to talk about today is one of the most chilling calls I've ever received as a police officer, not because of a murderer or a crime, but because one person carried two completely different souls. Although I'm just an ordinary cop, I've privately apprenticed myself to a master. He always warned me not to talk about these supernatural matters, but every time I couldn't resist, he'd sigh and say, "Fine, just one more story, Sai, one last one." But this story, I've held it back for a long time, because it didn't end. In fact, it's a nightmare that's still ongoing. It happened this past May. Our station kept receiving complaints from the same resident. The girl next door was disturbing the entire building every night. When we first went to mediate during the day, a woman in her mid-20s answered the door. She spoke softly and logically, completely normal. Her mother, wiping her hands on her apron, apologized. "My daughter is fine during the day, but after 8 p.m., it's like she becomes a different person." Little did we know the real horror hadn't even begun. We kept getting calls every single day. Until one night at around 9, we had no choice but to go back. Even before entering, we heard horrific screams. The girl was tied to her bed with thick ropes, her face twisted and purple, her eyes glowing blood red. Not just bloodshot, the kind of red that seeps deep into the iris. Her mother wept as she explained her daughter had been like this since marriage. Her husband had hidden it until one night she threw things and almost hurt their child. Then came the divorce. We sent her to a psychiatric hospital. All tests came back normal. But after 2 nights, the hospital sent her back every night at 7:30. She'd erupt, screaming words no one could understand. The most eerie thing? A doctor said she never sleeps, but her eyes never close. As a last resort, they brought in a spiritual master. He came at night, took one look at her, and asked straight out, "When you were pregnant, were there twins?" The mother turned pale. Yes, one was stillborn. The master was silent for a long time. Then a candle flame suddenly crackled and burst. He said, "That explains it. But to hear is one more thing you never mentioned." He pointed at the girl raging on the bed. There are 2 spirits in her body. The living one is the younger sister. The resentful one is the twin sister. She envies her sister's happy marriage and child. Now she wants to take everything away. The most haunting part was what the master said last. You can't separate twin spirits. If one goes, the other must go too. That girl is still tied down in a psychiatric ward. We're still covering the costs. Sometimes when I patrol past that building at night, I swear I can hear 2 voices crying, tangled together. And just last week, I heard the next-door neighbors in that same building called the police again. This time it was because of a baby's cry.